What's up, guys? Welcome back. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this YouTube thing. If I want to videotape an entire weekend, or if I want to videotape just certain things to do it, make it a bunch of different videos. So this weekend I'm going to try to do like the random craziness of my life in one weekend. So right now we're about to start working on my 75 f100 four-wheel drive truck, trying to do a brake proportion and valve. And I think that's about all we're going to do to it. And just got word that Summit is shipping out the cam that I bought for the truck. I've got the valve springs to go with it, so that'll be a whole nother video in the future, possibly with help from other people also. So I've got about an hour and a half till I go to lunch with Dad. I do it every Friday. So today's Friday, August 1st of 2025. So we're going to get started on this here in a minute. And this one's going to be kind of hard for me to videotape because I'm not good at this yet. And it's in a really weird spot to try to get to. So whatever I can show you guys, I'll show you guys. Whatever I can, I can't. And hopefully it's done today. Been talking about doing it for a while, so might as well just go ahead and do it. I'll check back in with you in a minute. All right, so inside the engine bay. I know it doesn't look it. This is new. That's new. I did both of them. I never painted them because I wasn't really quite sure that was bare metal, but that is what it is now. Down, follow the brake lines down behind this bracket. Down in, let's see if I can zoom in. Right there, you'll see a little, right there is the brake proportion valve. I didn't get exactly the same one, but I've gotten pretty close to it. I'm probably gonna have to plug off this port right here. It's got front brakes in, back brakes in, front brake out, back brake out. Well, this truck is going one out with the front brakes to a Y on the axle. So I'm probably gonna have to plug this one and go from there. So we'll see how it goes. It's gonna be kind of hard to videotape. Guys, I am cheap in everything I do in life. I'm gonna try to save all of the brake fluid that's in the reservoir for now with a little handheld mighty vac and put it back in this gallon of brake fluid that I ran through on the buggy the other day. That way I'm not wasting brake fluid. I'm not a big gloves person, but brake fluid messes with your hands pretty bad. So instead of getting it everywhere, look at that. Cheeto. I'm just gonna dump it back in here to save it. Try to catch as much of it in the drain pan when I take the lines off too. Making a mess. Making a mess. Quite full. Coming out of everything.
And then I look for the bullet. We lost the bullet. Sorry, Daddy. Let's go back inside.
All right. All right, so like I was saying, it's gonna be hard to all get out to videotape, but here is the proportioning valve. The back line on mine is 5/8, and I got lucky and it busted loose and it didn't twist the line or nothing. And then it's got two mounting bolts, one there, one there. I'm going to rob the plug out of this one because it's got a plug on the bottom also. And then this is an 11 or 7/16 for the top line. I'm assuming the same on this one, but I couldn't quite get to it. Two mounting bolts were 3/8. And then this is the adapter that I had to run because this is a 75 In 76 is when they started front disc. This has got front disc. So either someone converted it in the past, which it looks like it's not perfect, so it's probably not factory to this truck. I don't know if this is factory or not, so we'll go from there. Thank you. See you in a little bit. Well, as things tend to happen, I spoke too soon a minute ago talking about how I was going to get lucky and save some brake lines. The ends for the back brake down at the proportioning valve is spinning, the line and everything, so it's going to ruin it. So new goal or new plan is to take them loose from the master cylinder up here and then take it off this bracket right here. And then I'm possibly gonna have to rebuild these lines, which is not a big deal. I've got kits where I bought brake line kits from rolls of them for the buggy, so I can rebuild those ones if I need to and go from there. 2 bolts have a nut on the washer, so all you gotta do is bust them loose, 3/8 bolts to hold it down. I'm gonna take these loose and I'm gonna finagle it out of there. And I'll see you in a few.
What are you doing?
You're so more uncomfortable doing that than I am. I am trying to take the brake lines loose from this bracket with little to no room with anything to do this. It's not a nut plate, it's a nut and bolt. So I'm trying to hold a wrench at a very crude angle and a really large ratchet and extension to try to get this daggum nut off. To take the proportioning valve out because everything else is loose now. Son of a gun.
This isn't a very good angle.
Huh?
So this isn't a very good angle.
Everything in your eyes is blurry. You can't see where the junk. So this bracket holds these brake lines, right?
Right.
It also holds the fuel line that runs up to it. And I'm thinking I'm gonna have to take out the one, I think it's only one bolt down at the bottom that holds it in all the way down here that you can't see. And then finagle that bracket out of the way so that way I have more room for the lines to come out. So that's what that bracket is. It is just a simple thing from Ford to hold things in place to keep them off the header. Or, you know, factory would have been manifold, but in this truck it would have been an inline 6. Originally it was an inline 6, so it was a lot less motor here. So you got a big motor and not a whole lot of room, but a lot more room than it would be like say in your Suburban or something.
What are you doing now?
I am trying to save as many brake lines off of the old proportioning valve. That way I don't have to make them if I don't have to. Save money, reuse the old. They're not corroded through. There's nothing wrong with them. The only thing that was wrong with the brakes was the valve wasn't releasing the pressure of the front brakes. So it was constantly holding the front brakes. That one come loose. I'm fighting this one. This one's being a butt head. I need a hat. Not wanting to come loose in the line itself. And I don't have any more oxygen for my little oxygen torch. So I'm just trying to move slow and break them loose.
Milk?
That one come loose. I'm only getting unlucky with one. But if I don't have to make the lines I don't want to, saves me time, saves me effort, and saves me a little bit of money. And who don't like saving money?
You.
Hmm?
I said you.
Don't like saving money?
No, you like saving money.
Ta-da! I'd really like for this line to come loose from itself, but the old proportioning valve's right here. The new one looks pretty similar, not exact shape, not exact size, but the bolt holes are in the same spot. and everything else is basically the same. It just doesn't have this down kick, and I don't know if that was for a second or brake line in the rear or what. But this is factory, and this is obviously not. Everything else looks the same besides this is supposed to be a brake pressure switch. This is a 2-pin. This is a 1-pin. There's no wires to it underneath the truck, so I am not going to worry about it. I'm going to try to steal this plug out of here so I can put it in this one so I don't have to buy another plug.
Okay.
And now I need a 10 mil. Okay, there we go. In pause.
Yep.
All right, 10 mil. It's not a 10 mil, it's a 3/8.
Daddy, no.
Old Fords have nothing but standard American.
No, no, no.
Oh yeah, they come out pretty quick. I was not expecting that to come loose. Ew. That might be
Looks
why.
yucky.
Can you see inside of it with the camera?
Maybe. Hold that.
It could probably use a rebuild and be good, but for 32 bucks, I bought a whole nother one. Some things are just not worth rebuilding. And this is one of those things. That one's good and plugged. This is gonna go here. That's gonna go here. This is gonna go there. Okay. Let me see if I can't work this son of a gun loose.
So you're breaking it loose? Or attempting to?
Attempting to take it loose from the line. A little bit of heat would help.
What are you breaking it loose for?
So that way it actually works like it's supposed to and not trying to spin the line. Right now it's trying to spin the line, and if it spins the line too far, it'll crack the line. And then I'll have to be remaking one. And if I remake one, I might as well remake both. So I'm trying not to do it.
Oh.
Daddy, wow. Daddy, look. Daddy, look. Whoa. No, no, look.
You got an Allen key?
Yeah, Daddy.
I don't need it.
Daddy.
I used it last weekend. I don't need it this weekend, buddy.
Mommy. Mommy.
Lordy.
Bah.
Dadgummit. You can take it. All right, so where I left off before lunch was getting this fitting here loose, and it's loose now. The problem I got now is I spent all that time getting that loose, and it don't fit the threads for where that fitting's at. So now I gotta cut this one back loose. I'm gonna try to get this one down, cut that flare off, and I'm gonna reflare this line to go on here and go from there. You good? All right, so I worked that fitting off. That was a pain in the butt, and the person that's recording it wasn't out here. But the old fitting's right here. It doesn't fit. So that's the fitting that was on the line. Then a tube cutter. Cut as close to the flare as possible. It's still in there. That way I'm not wasting line. If I do have to bend it, I'll only have to bend a little bit to make up 3/16 of an inch. This is a very cheap flare tool kit from, I say cheap, everything at O'Reilly's is way more expensive than it should be. But there's 1,000,001 videos out there on how this works. So I'm gonna flare this, a double flare. That was what was in it, and that's what's gonna go back in it. Take this piece all the way till it bottoms out. Back it off. Take your little press out the other way. A lot of times this little fitting will get stuck in there. Some taps, and it'll come out.
That's what you said.
And then you just repeat the process without anything in there. Makes your second flare. It's all good from there. I will pick the phone back up or have it start recording when I'm putting everything back together.
Okay, what are you doing now?
I am putting the brake lines back in the proportion. I just put the proportionate valve in. Now I'm trying to reroute these back into where they're supposed to go and start them, and then start the ones on the bottom. And just be snugging everything up and start bleeding brakes.
Alright.
It's going back together. Almost done. What? What am I looking? You sound hoarse, kid.
You find a tractor? Tractor?
You found a tractor?
So what are you doing down there?
I am connecting the two lines that come from the master cylinder down to the proportionate valve now. And it's super fun because you can't get a regular size wrench to anything. And you can't get two hands to everything. And then after this, now I'm gonna make a new line that goes from this port right here, if you can you see it?
Yeah.
From this port to the soft line for the front axle. That's down here because I had the wrong size fitting for this line. So now I get to make another brake line.
Okay, what are you doing?
I am using a tube cutter and cutting off this flare and saving this line instead of building another one. I've got a bunch of brake fittings from the kits I had bought for the buggy. So I'm going to, this didn't have to be this long anyways. So I straightened it out, pulled the fitting back, cutting this flare off, taking this fitting off, gonna put this fitting on instead. That way it'll screw right into that soft line instead of having an adapter in between them. And then here in a minute, I'm going to show a different brake flaring tool because I got this most of the way straight. It'll work in the other one. It's way faster and easier. The only downside is you can't use it in the car. It's got to go in a vise. So that's where that comes into play. A vise and a piece of metal that goes in the receiver hitch. You can put it on anything. What? Are you getting dirty out here?
No.
Yeah. So just like that, cuts the flare off, slide the fitting off, slide the new one on. Now I've got to go get the tool and try to straighten this out a little bit more. Before the video stops, there's a trick to everything in life. If you take a wrench, you can kind of straighten it out with a wrench and keep from kinking. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight, but that's straight enough to put it near the tool. Pause it. Okay. It's going?
Yep.
All right. So this is another tool we bought off Amazon. It is a brake flaring tool. Step one to this thing is freaking sweet. Put some line through it, more line than you need. Clamp her down. Jack, nobody wants to hear that. So before you clamp it all the way down, you have to stick it out. Come over here. You stick it out way further than it needs to be. Oh my goodness. Like this. Stick it out further than it needs to be. Push this back until it's flush. Then clamp this down. And then you go for your single flare. Step 1. For your 3/16 right here. Flare it. Twist it over your step 2 for your double flare. And go. And that is now a double flare on a steel line, which anybody who's made brake lines knows that it's kind of a pain in the butt, but it's a perfect flare, single flare, or a double flare. This will do double flares, bubble flares, single flares. It's an Amazon tool. Well worth the price. I don't know. It wasn't expensive. It was cheap, but it's well worth it.
Okay.
Alrighty.
So what you doing?
I am going to vacuum bleed. Try to get a lot of this air out from the portion valve back here before pumping and bleeding. I have a pneumatic one of these, but I'm gonna try this one first. You can stop. Pause it.